Good evening and welcome to Taylor's Daily Dispatch. I'm Riyadh, bringing you the latest headlines from around Malaysia. Our top story tonight, the boycott movement.
I'm Samia, reporting live from Taylor's Lakeside. Have you guys heard of boycotting? If not, let me tell you what it is. It is the act of refusing to buy or support specific items or services as a form of protest. It is growing increasingly popular around the world due to the continuing conflict between Israel and Palestine. Boycotting has gained significant traction in Malaysia, with residents deciding to boycott Israel-related items and services as a mean of protest and as a mark of solidarity with Palestine. This case study investigates the causes and effects of boycotting, the ability of impact change, and whether it is effective, justifiable, and ethical. This will be reinforced by study, examination of real-world examples, and empirical data.
Thank you, Samia, for that report. Now let's move on to Gladwynn, who will tell us a little bit background of the impact the boycott movement has had on Malaysia.
Good evening, everyone. The latest development on this story indicates that the ongoing genocide between Israel and Palestine has prompted Malaysians to step up their attempts to boycott Israeli-related items, resulting in significant changes in the economy, which include shorter operation hours and lower staff wages. Economists and consumer organizations, on the other hand, believe that the boycott initiative has the potential to boost local products by encouraging people to seek local alternatives to Israeli companies. The boycott serves as a lesson for countries that do not appreciate the value of human life. The boycott movement is not limited to Malaysia, as other countries such as Indonesia, Turkey, and other parts of the world also carry out boycotts against Israel.
Thank you, Gladwynn, for this information. Now for the next section, we have decided to conduct an interview and a survey where we covered the perspectives of those residing in Malaysia. Firstly, through the survey, some of the things we considered is that out of everyone that participated, 78.7% is familiar with the concept of boycott, 72.1% is identified by the ongoing boycott of Israel-related products, 54.1% supports the boycott movement, and 42.6% believe that it is effective in trying to create change. This indicates that many individuals residing in Malaysia agree with the boycott movement to some extent. Now let's roll the tape for the interview.
Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Akil. I am 21 and I'm an undergrad student in UiTM Shalom.
Can you please state your position regarding the boycott movement?
I am against boycotting in Malaysia.
Your primary reasons for not supporting boycott as a form of protest?
Well, the reason why I am against it is because since I am a citizen of Malaysia, I take care of my Malaysian citizens. It goes a long way for boycotting companies that are outside of Malaysia, for example, like McDonald's and Starbucks. But in Malaysia, there are so many franchises of those companies that are comprised of Malaysian workers that work day to day to sustain their families, and I don't want to put them in a burden where they are lacking sales because of me. I am afraid that it would cause an economic downturn for Malaysia due to all these boycotts. As a citizen, I don't really have that much power to control what's happening in Gaza, but the only thing I can control is the welfare of Malaysian citizens.
What method of advocacy do you think is more effective than boycotts?
Of course, social media awareness is really important, especially in Malaysia. We have a high following of influencers, and they should take part in making sure that everyone here is aware of the real situation. And I'm not saying that boycott doesn't work, but I really want to emphasize this for Malaysians who are outside of Malaysia, who are in foreign countries. I want them to spread awareness to the locals there. That's what I think is effective.
Hello, please introduce yourself and your stance regarding the boycott movement.
Hello, my name is Ihsan Basha. I'm 22 years old and I am reading law in University Malaya. Regarding my stance on the boycott movement, I am all for it. The boycotting movement has such an impact towards the humanitarian issues that is happening all over the world.
Can you share a specific example of you boycotting as well as what caused you to do so?
One of the most prominent example is that I'm a regular customer for McDonald's. I feel like that is one of the best fast food franchise that I've ever had in my life. But ever since learning that McDonald's is one of the prime contributors to the issues that is happening right now, I stopped consuming their products.
Do you believe that boycotts can cause divisions between friends and family or people in general?
I do believe that such thing can be an outcome, but I also am a believer that because this is a question of morale, I think that once we see any humanitarian issues that is happening, such in Gaza or in Congo, I feel like we should come together as one, put aside the conflicts that might occur between friends and families, because there's a much bigger issue than ourselves.
How would you respond to people criticizing actions that you decide to take?
I don't think that it affects me in any way. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. There are few of my friends that is against the boycott, and there are some people like me in our friend group. But what is important is that we respect each other and just move on and continue with doing what we do.
From the interview, we can see that upon examining the psychological and sociological aspect of the interviews, we can conclude that the views of respondents were shaped by a mix of personal and social factors. The boycott opposer is driven by cultural standards and general awareness for Malaysian citizens, whereas the boycott supporters' perspective is influenced by empathy and moral duty in the face of global humanitarian issues. Though these perspectives differ, the approach is similar as they demonstrate how societal dynamics, individual psychology, and philosophical frameworks interact to establish the principles and logic that support the different perspectives on the boycott movement. Now let's switch up to Gladwynn to wrap everything up for us.
All in all, examining the psychology and sociology aspect of the interviews reveals how individuals and social concerns influence the public opinions. The anti-boycott stance reflects a psychological concern for Malaysian citizens' welfare, emphasizing the impact of boycotts on local workers and the economy. This aligns with theories highlighting people's innate desire to support their communities. In contrast, the pro-boycott perspective emphasized empathy and moral responsibility for global humanitarian issues. It aligns with theories of empathy and moral development. Both positions acknowledge the sociological dimension, highlighting the importance of social influence and group dynamics. Overall, these elements demonstrate the complex interplay of individual psychology, societal dynamics, and philosophical frameworks in shaping attitudes towards the boycott movement.
Thank you for that recap, and that will be all for us today. Join us again tomorrow for another edition of Taylor's Daily Dispatch. I'm Riyadh, and good evening.